Let's know.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey everyone. What a cruddy end. We'll get into it. It felt like such a good evening. It really did. And then an overused bullpen comes back to be ineffective and a repeating story for this year. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. They won't let you down. Download the app, create an account, use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Over there is Justin. I am Jeff. I felt a spider crawling on my legs, so I apologize. Yeah, it's that kind of evening here. This team, God, it's like they had that good run. They had the big 5-run inning. They got the big lead. They go to Trevor Stephan for the third time in 4 games.
After he threw 20 pitches the other day.
Yeah, like
Wednesday. Yeah. There
was some debate if Castro was even safe at first. Like, why didn't they even challenge that?
Yeah, that should have been a challengeable call. He was, I don't know if he was out, but it was worth challenging. Did the Guardians use their challenge at that point? Or they had a challenge?
I believe so. Yeah. And then just personal gripe. My mind went blank there. It's, the situation of, again, why is it so many of these guys? Like we saw Morgan tonight. We've seen it with virtually everyone in the pen at some point, even some of the starters. Why do we have games where guys' control is just gone? Like they're at a 0. It's the weirdest thing. I don't remember that happening a year ago. But yeah, it just seems like for some reason, like every third game, a pitcher can't command his pitches anymore. And I don't know why that is. But yeah, the Guardians had a 5-run inning, had some awesome offensive performance. Sorry, David, we will talk about Amed because he was dog poop.
Yeah, you don't want to know what
hurting this team.
I'm going to do it right now. Let's talk about Amed. I don't care that people don't like we're talking about Amed. He is a problem. He is not playing well. At this time a year ago, he started to find it. Guess who the best shortstop on this team is? Gabby Arias. He's hitting every day right now. He had another 2 hits tonight again. I should say
2 hits, maybe a walk too.
No, he didn't have a walk tonight, but he had 2 hits. He did have 2 strikeouts. He needs to be in the lineup every day.
And he's hitting every day. If you look, he probably has the hardest hit. If not, he has one of the 3 hardest hits.
He had the hardest hit ball of the day for either team. 107 miles. It was a single. It was a 5 launch angle. So not great, but still. He needs to play every day. I don't care if that's shortstop, right field, or first base.
Just putting him in there defensively at short makes it.
Yes, even late in the game, like let's say he plays first base and Josh Naylor gets the night off. And I know Josh Naylor had a wrist issue tonight, so that was that's totally something different. Yeah. But move Arias to shortstop late in the game. Move him out. You take him out of right field late in the game for Will Brennan, right? Move him to shortstop late in the game too. Keep him in the game for his defense. He has saved this team multiple times defensively. Look at the plays he made in Baltimore at third base and shortstop. He's a great defender. He's hitting the ball well. He's playing with confidence. Amed Rosario is not giving you anything right now. I know he had 2 doubles against St. Louis. Big whoop. He is
only guy to not reach.
He is hurting this team right now on both sides of the ball, day in and day out. He only provides you speed. You want to make him a pinch runner? That's fine. You want to pinch hit for him in the 8th inning for Cam Gallagher or Miles Straw or Will Brennan against a lefty? That's fine. I can deal with that. Amed Rosario is supposed to be a leader, and he's supposed to be this guy who's like a glue in the clubhouse, and people look up to him. The best thing for Amed Rosario right now is to be a bench player, whether he's playing against lefties, whether he's pinch running, he's pinch hitting for a guy against the lefty, or he comes in as a, if you want to, I really wouldn't bring him for defensive replacement, but whatever. That needs to be his role right now. He might be good as a pinch runner. Remember the whole Billy Hamilton thing that I think what's his name from, he used to be at the Score, Travis Sawchik had a couple of years ago for Billy Hamilton saying he should just pinch run for the first guy that reaches base, like down in the lineup. You could get a lot of value out of him defensively and speed wise if he does that. Same with Amed, although not defensively, but
defensively is a problem. Just and for the sake
he needs to be a bench player. I'm sorry, that's the best. What's best for his team. And if he wants to be a good teammate and do what's best for the team, that's where he should be.
Yeah, if he is Mr. Teammate, Mr. Good Team, he is the worst hitter on the team right now. Like Will Brennan got up to a 609 OPS. Miles Straw's at a 602. Amed Rosario has a below 600 OPS. It's a 593. He's
the worst on the team right now.
he's the worst hitter on the team. He's the worst defender on the team. And this is where
I don't know about the worst defender, but he's the worst shortstop.
No, I think he is the worst defender on the team. You look at this whole team picture wise.
First base.
But Josh Bell doesn't play there most days. Most days, Josh Bell is DH.
I mean, he's still a better defender than Josh Bell and Josh Naylor. He's just not a good shortstop.
I mean, Josh Naylor is not bad at first base.
Either way, we're splitting here.
Ahmed is bad at shortstop.
And also, let's be clear. They didn't lose this game because of Ahmed. Yes, he went 0 for 5. He had some bad at-bats. They didn't lose this game because of him. They lose this game because of an overworked bullpen.
Yes.
But he's still a problem.
And right now, Gabby Arias, by the way, third best OPS on this team. It goes Jose and Naylor. Naylor is now up to a 747. Jose at an 807. Gabby Arias is up to a 695. He is almost over 700. He is almost a league average bat for a team that is desperate for league average bats.
790 OPS in the month of May with 3 homers, 328 OBP. He walked 9 times. Like we said yesterday, for a guy in the minors who didn't really walk a ton, with every day at bats, he is commanding the strike zone.
He's been more productive than Stephen Kwan this year. Like, he needs to play every day. And on top of all this, he's an elite defender at short. So going from
he's
a
an
bad
elite
defender
at third, he's an elite defender at first, even.
Going from a bad defender to an elite defender, and then the change in bats. We'll keep talking about Amed, because the other problem is, listen, one thing Justin and I kind of agree to disagree on.
He gets the most important spot of the lineup.
I know, is Tito. Like, I'm not as much of a Tito guy. You are 100% a Tito guy. The fact that Tito won't move him out of that 2 hole is like maybe my biggest issue with Tito this year. It's like, so you're putting him in that most important spot of the lineup. You refuse to move off of it. When people are like, hey, what about lineup changes? You're like, hey, well, what can we do? Like, his response there to Zach was very weak, and you got to move him out. Like, the fact is, he is your worst hitter and you have him in that spot. So it's just extra blown up. And maybe this game gets like knocked so far out of, being able for them to come back, if he is not hitting second in that inning where everyone reached base except for him, where Zunino drove into, where Bell hit a bloop, where Miles Straw started it by walking. Everyone reached base. Jimenez didn't reach base, but you know what he did? He tied the game up, but with a productive out at least. So it was only Amed. And that is the story constantly. And it's going to keep being the story. And people talk about trading him. Who wants to acquire him? Like, at his cost, at $8 million, I don't think a team wants that. Like, you couldn't. I think if you placed him on waivers, no one would claim him. I honestly believe that right now.
Who? Amed? No, somebody would.
For $8 million? You think?
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. No.
With his salary, I don't think anyone's taking him. I don't think he has any trade value. I think right now, if they do make a Bieber trade, like, I know if people talking about trading Amed, it's part of the return is going to be forcing someone to take Amed off your hands. Like, that is the situation.
Would they really do that though? Because I don't want to get into this.
Supposedly what they did with Carrasco. That was part of the cost.
Carrasco was a salary dump.
Yes, so with Amed.
But it was after 2020. It was
I know, but I'm saying that
and Lindor still had a lot of trade value at that time.
Yes.
Bieber, his trade value, the way he's been pitching lately, is diminishing.
Basically, what I feel like it could be is, instead of getting a 4th prospect or a C-level prospect, where, like, they've, in the past, they've always
take away one prospect. Yeah,
you take away that prospect and get rid of that.
Yeah, but look, the offense. I mean, except for Amed Rosario, it's funny how fast this can change, because we started talking off air. I think it was 6-3, and Stefan came in and he had that infield single, and I was like, oh, that stinks. Should have challenged that, unfortunate luck. And then he threw a meatball to Royce Lewis, who crushed it, as he should. Like, he's got to make a better pitch.
No, that was a terrible pitch.
He should have been out of the inning as well, but, that happens. Same with Bieber the other day. Like, Amed Rosario screwed him on a ground ball a transfer he should have made, and then Bieber gave up some hits with 2 outs. Stefan, got a little bad luck. He still has to come back and make the right pitches, so there's no excuse there. But we felt...
If Gabby's in, then that probably is an out. Let's be honest, though.
Today with the
Castro hit.
Yeah, for the arm. Yeah. Okay, you're right.
If Gabby's in, then that's an out, and then
Arias has to at least be a late game defensive replacement. Although I don't know who you put at first base in this case. If Josh Naylor really can't come in, I guess you lose the DH. That's an issue. But we were in good spirits talking off the air, because it was 6-3. Stefan was in. Felt good, even though he got kind of overused on Wednesday.
I mean, you can't tell me that Tyler Freeman, with his athleticism and ability, couldn't at least step into first and be passable, right?
without any, how, well, I don't know.
I mean, he's probably played it at some point in his life. I mean, so many of these guys, like Gabby,
he'd be fine. Just, they're not going to do that on a whim unless they're for emergency situation. But, we were feeling pretty good about the game, and then they blew it, and now we're in a bad mood. But the offense, did kind of have a throwback to 2022 in that inning where they had 6 singles. They scored 5 runs. Some balls got through the zone or through the ground or through the end of the grass. Like they looked good. They had good at bats. Well, yeah, they just had good at bats. I mean, they didn't even they only had 1 walk tonight, so it wasn't like they were patient. Although Straw, I think, was the reason that inning got started with him.
Yeah, he started. It was the walk.
The only walk.
Yeah, he walked. Then Quan had the single.
Of course, Amed Rosario had a terrible swing on a pitch inside and sawed his bat off. But then, so Jimenez had a single and RBI that inning. Bell didn't hit the ball hard, but he got it in the air, and that
launch angle though 17. So like that's a big thing for him.
Jimenez's double tonight too was a hustle double on a blooper. So like they ran the bases aggressively and they didn't steal a base tonight. So all except for Rosario, the offense tonight, even Mike Zunino had a big 2-run hit. So the offense had plenty of 2022 callbacks tonight, which is a continuation of the Baltimore series. Makes you feel as good. It's just the bullpen couldn't close it out tonight. Bybee wasn't at his best. I think he was good until that 5th inning, and then the 4th inning things started to come unhinged a little. Fastball command wise, he hit a batter, and then he never really recovered after that. But I will say he
gave up 5 hits in that inning.
Yeah, he buckled down and got. I mean, if your bad start is 5 innings, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, I will take that every day of the week. He pitched fine for a guy who just kind of had some things shake loose in the 5th inning there in the 4th inning. So it's fine.
For me, it's that thing too, where I was complaining to you throughout the game where, Hunter Gaddis isn't going to be here that long.
Well, now he is for a minute.
I mean, but he's out by what, Sunday? He's probably gone by when they have to. He's here through.
Oh, for McKenzie on Sunday.
For McKenzie, so it's like this seemed like the perfect opportunity if you've had your pen really overworked, and then you get to that end point. Like Gaddis for 2 felt like the perfect thing to do here to help take off some of that. But listen, I know people are going to be like, you're complaining about all of this stuff and the bullpen blew the game. We're going to get into the bullpen. We're going to get into some roster stuff, but we're going to do that all after a quick break on today's Locked On Guardians.
This weekend, I'm going to see the Impractical Jokers. It's going to be fun. I've been waiting to see them for a couple years. I got tickets really ahead of time, but if you are still searching for tickets, you should check out the Gametime app. If you're stressed about buying tickets, this is the app for you. Doesn't have to be stressful buying tickets. They have tickets for every sporting event, music, concert, comedy, show, play, whatever. It's the place for last-minute ticket deals. They have deals on tickets right up to the day of the event, exclusive flash deals on all sports, and with the Gametime guarantee, you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Gametime is going to credit you 110% of the difference. So snag tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app and create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. And Friday night, if you don't have Apple TV, the game's on Apple TV. I believe it's at 8:10 Eastern. You can check out the SiriusXM app to listen to Tom Hamilton and Jim Rosenhaus on the call for Guardians Twins. Just search Guardians on your XM app. Okay, where do you want to go? You want to go talk about the bullpen again?
Yeah, we should get into it. Yes, Ahmed's frustrating because there is a chance that things don't come around. The offense was great. Like outside of Amed, everyone reached base. I think, you want to take a moment and be like, Andres Jimenez was strong in Baltimore. He had that hustle double. And then again, a productive out. I'll take it. Jose, I feel like Jose and just not quite at the level of Jose we would like to see. But he came through big when it mattered. And then again, Gabby and Brennan, also nice. Brennan, I talked about, he was the worst hitter on this team till about 2 weeks ago. And now he's creeping up. He's just 3rd worst right now by some metrics, but it's from where he was. That's a big creep. it's he's the Jeff Ellis of creeps right now with his. I'm just looking for jokes where I can get them when I'm frustrated. But we're seeing a lot of positive signs. So I do want to say that Bell, not hard hit, but launch angle. And if you listen to the broadcast, they talked about some of the things they're working on with him. There's a lot of positives with the offense. The bullpen. Hey, 99 pitch. Well, it's getting hot. It's easier for him to get sweaty and sticky.
Well, he gave up 3 long fly balls.
He did. It was on 7 pitches.
There are some ballparks. I'm going to look. There might be some ballparks. That
I'm trying to be positive, man. I'm trying to be positive. But yeah, they were very hard hit.
Christian Vasquez's fly ball would have been a home run in one ballpark. I don't know which ballpark, but so one of those 3 would have been a home run in one ballpark.
So Nick Sandlin, could we just take a moment for all the people? Like, there were people saying he should get sent down. He only allowed 2 hits in May. Nick Sandlin needs to be getting more run, not sent down.
I feel like I forget Nick Sandlin's in the bullpen, to be honest.
He doesn't get used enough, but he has been awesome.
I honestly forget.
Awesome.
Every day we talk about Enyel needs more chances. We talk about Clase and Stefan, and Henches is back. Trying not to use 99. Eli Morgan is out there, and he didn't have a good night.
I mean, Morgan has an ERA under 2. This bullpen just implodes at the weirdest times.
I know. Yeah, it's a case again. The bullpen just didn't have a good night. Be honest.
Somehow Emilio Pagan went 2 1/3 innings and only allowed 1 hit. How do you not rough up Emilio Pagan? Like, on the broadcast, they're making fun of the fact that the players get excited to face Emilio Pagan. Emilio Pagan came in and shut this team down tonight when they needed some additional runnage.
Yeah, that's not it. It is a bad time. We talked about how this team is having a hard time firing all cylinders. I feel like, the offense was good enough on Wednesday at Baltimore.
The offense was good.
The pitching wasn't good.
Starting pitching was fine. It wasn't spectacular, but it was fine. It was a good outing. Yeah. And then the bullpen just pooped the bed.
Except for Nick Sandlin, and I guess.
And 99 got it done.
There
was some adventure to it. He only needed 7 pitches, and he got it done. Sandlin was great. Stefan, it was just...
Well, like I said,
it was an absolute meatball to Royce Lewis. It was middle of the plate. And then Eli Morgan, in that full count, he didn't even throw his first he threw his 3rd best pitch in that situation. You don't want to get beat on your... You want to get beat on your best.
Morgan didn't throw one good pitch in that inning at all.
He was...
Two, one was an intentional walk, but he did not have anything good. Stefan at least recovered after the home run.
Yeah. And that was he threw, as you said, 20 pitches the day before. He's thrown 3 of the last 4 days. Not ideal. That's where I'm again, Hunter Gaddis looked pretty solid in his last few starts. Have him throw the 6th with Bybee only being able to go 5.
Henches pitched the last 2 days in a row, so he was out. Curry just used 21 pitches, so he wasn't going. Clase had thrown 2 days in a row, so he was likely unavailable. So it was literally De Los Santos was available, but I guess with Clase out, you're probably going to De Los Santos. So kind of a rough way to go there for a game that you should have won. You should have had that game. That's just and that's the way the offense is battling right now. That's the frustration with this. Is so many of these games. It'd almost be easier if it was just a crap game. If they lost 7-1 instead of battling back. And you just get to I go back to that Mets series. I go back to, the Cardinals. Even though they won that series, the losses in that one, even the most recent series against Baltimore. It's they've come so close to being on a strong run, and then they seem to drop these games. We're just for one reason or another. Yeah. You know what though? I will say this. I'm going to be positive. The way they've been playing since the St. Louis series, I know they didn't hit for anything in the St. Louis series. They had the walk-off win on Sunday. But the way they played against Baltimore, and I know their starting pitching has been garbage. Kyle Gibson's been good, but he was the one game we lost. But I do feel an air of confidence right now, though. I feel good. This team's going to bounce back on Friday, and they're going to play well again. I mean, I don't know if they're going to win. It may be a tight game, a 3-2 loss. I don't know. But I feel like they're going to come back tomorrow, and they're going to be close in the game. I don't foresee I could be totally wrong on this. You guys can tweet at me and say, "Wow, you're an idiot, Justin. You don't deserve to be hosting a podcast." They could lose 7-1 tomorrow, but I feel good saying that I think they're in a better spot to bounce back and be in tomorrow's game, whether they need to score 5 runs or they need to win a 3-2 ball game. I feel at least they have the ability to bounce back tomorrow. A month ago, if you'd have said that, I'd have been probably not. 2 weeks ago, I'd have been like, this team can't bounce back.
Well, they need to bounce back because pitching gets a lot harder Saturday, Sunday.
It does. Well, it was hard all week. I will admit this. I did not know Pablo Lopez has been stinking it up the last couple starts. I mean, I saw the ERA and I was like, he's been a good pitcher this year. I did not realize his last couple starts have been pretty subpar. So there's that. All right, we have to talk about the rotation situation being solved for now and some quick rehab updates here in just a moment. I'm going to buy a keyboard, and I'm going to learn to play that on the keyboard or something. It's fun. So we can do it.
Remember to check out tomorrow's game, especially if you don't have Apple TV on Sirius XM Radio. Just type Guardians. So should we start with the rotation? As you said, they always finds a way to work itself out.
How about that?
I thought there was a really interesting quote from Tito about Cal trying to pitch through, be a warrior, pitch through things. And I do wonder how bad this has affected him. And I'm trying to pull up the because I sent you the quote and the stat.
Oh yeah, he was saying about how I'm the guy who's supposed to give you innings or something, and I didn't. And
let's see, he thought he could power through it. He said, "Hey, my value is staying out there and giving you some innings and keeping you in games, and I'm not doing that." And then I went and dug up like his numbers, and here's the thing: let's be honest. His March and April numbers weren't great. His K rate was still down, but his FIP was a 460, but his BABIP was a 330, which is like 30, 40 points ahead of where it should be. So he was unlucky with mediocre numbers. Now, this past month, he was even worse, but his BABIP had been at 250. So he had gone the other way. So he had equaled out, but he's clearly been pitching hurt for a bit of time now. So some of his, he's been basically a replacement level player. And I think he has been trying to pitch through a shoulder that's bothering him, and shoulders are scary as heck. So we'll see when and if he's available. He has been a solid guy, but I think looking at the numbers, you can totally see someone who was unlucky. And then, he got hurt, and his walk rate was up nearly 2 percentage points. His K to walk ratio was down nearly 2 percentage points. There is a big shift in this month. And I think with Savali and McKenzie out, I think he was trying to pitch through pain, and I just think it wasn't going well.
Yeah. And he did have he had one good start, and then the next start, remember, he had that line drive come back at him, and it kind of unraveled after that.
Yeah, and then after that, and in that start, he was pitching great. And then after that line drive, he was not the same guy. I think they lost that game because of what happened after the line drive.
For all the people who are like, "Oh, this is really well timed," like the dude got an MRI and got an injection into his shoulder to calm it down. He's not taking a needle in the shoulder and going to get an MRI because Cleveland's trying to fake an injury here,
and he's not going to want to fake it. No one wants to pretend to be hurt.
That's not good on his line. Yeah, no one's
so
this.
Because then all of a sudden, listen, Quantrill is not a star pitcher. One of his biggest selling points is his sturdiness. He doesn't want.
And he even said that. That's exactly what he said. So, but I did hear on the broadcast too that Carl Willis thinks this will be a short stay. So McKenzie is going to start Sunday. That was TBD coming into today, and that was the reason why, because they were checking on Cal's shoulder. So we know Savali's starting Friday night. So Cal will go to the IL Friday to make room for Savali. Mm-hmm. They'll keep Gaddis in the bullpen for the time being. And then Sunday, I'm guessing it'll be Gaddis option to AAA to make room for Triston McKenzie. So that will do it for this time for the rotation. McKenzie's back. Savali's back. That'll be good. I guess we'll see when Quantrill's healthy what'll happen. But like we've been saying for months, right? We've been saying, these things tend to work themselves out, and no one was hoping for a Cal injury or anybody to get hurt really, because not good for anybody, but it did work itself out. Peyton Battenfield first hit the IL with the shoulder issue, and now it's Cal, and we'll see what happens when Cal is ready to return. He may not even need a rehab start. This is a short stay. He may not even need a rehab start. So
chance to readdress and see where things are in a few weeks, and I'll be interested to see how everyone continues to pitch or what things look like. As we saw with Baltimore, there's no guarantee with young players. Grayson Rodriguez was by some viewed as the top pitching prospect in baseball. He got sent back down. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just putting out the large range of options. Maybe Savali gets hurt again. Who knows when it comes to him. Maybe they trade Bieber by then. I'm kidding. But they have some options. It helps delay things, but I think he was legitimately hurt. And anyone saying otherwise, I think is insanity.
Yeah. Well, we got some updates from the minor leagues though they're both, I guess, somewhat good. I guess I don't know. We'll see. So Cody Morris pitched in 2 2/3 innings in the minor, 2 1/3 innings in the minors for Akron on his 3rd rehab outing. As we said, Cleveland wants to get him to 3 innings. And then they're going to kind of assess where to go from there. They're going to see if they need to continue to stretch him out as a starter or if they keep him as a bullpen arm. I'd say they keep him as a bullpen arm. I don't see any reason to go to him as a starter right now. Come back next year and see what you want to do. But right now he should be a reliever. So we'll see what happens with him. The next time out should be he should be at 3 innings. So that should be a deciding point kind of for him at that point. Maybe, I mean, I don't think could they option the AAA? I don't know. That's kind of what I'm wondering. Like, I would rather have Morris in the bullpen than 99. Will they do that? I don't know. Part of me thinks maybe they will keep him in AAA as depth. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of think
be as a starter because it shouldn't be as a starter. And Plesac got destroyed in his last start again. He gave 3 home runs. Like, Plesac is not an option to start right now. Cantillo is not an option to start right now. Your only option in AAA to start, if somebody else goes down or you need like a 6-man or something for a doubleheader, your only option is Gaddis when he goes back to AAA. So I don't know. Maybe you do put Morris in the rotation because I don't see any reason to call up Zach Plesac for even to be the 27th man for a day. It doesn't look like he should be. Not the way he's pitching.
Yeah. I just wonder if he ends up kind of in a piggybacking situation.
Morris? I could see that.
In AAA. And then, because the one thing I'll say is, again, we know Tito is loyal to his guys. 99 is his guy. 99 is being more productive of late. It's not always clean, but he's getting more productive. And I don't think they're going to make any big seismic moves unless they have to.
No, I don't think they will either. I just like I said, I just don't think that you have a whole ton of options in AAA. Like, maybe at some point if Cal comes back and you send some rookie down, I don't know. But really the only option right now is in AAA is Gaddis if you need a starter. So maybe it makes sense to have Morris available for something like that because too soon for Cantillo. They're not going to do it for Williams unless it's a long-term thing. We talked about that. And Plesac right now should not be coming back as a starter at any point. So we'll see what they do with Morris. And the other update we have is I'm torn. Like, it's good and it's bad. So
it's good for the Guardians, but I'm sad for the player.
Yeah. So we talked about Nic Enright, who was taken in the Rule 5 draft by the Marlins over the offseason, and then right before spring training was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So he beat that. He came back. He had been rehabbing in AAA. I don't say rehabbing. He's just been building his workload back up because he missed all spring training while he was, fighting cancer. He was pitching pretty well for them in the minors. I mean, he had 18 strikeouts in 16 innings in 9 games. His whip was
Miami Marlins.
Yeah, for the Marlins. So his whip was almost 1. It was 1.06, pitching pretty well. And they decided to DFA him the other day. I don't really know the story behind it, why, but he made it through waivers. The Guardians took him back.
It's when because when he gets through waivers, Cleveland gets the chance to claim him and bring him back with him not being on the 40-man. And they jumped at that because he's probably their best reliever in AAA now outside of Tim Herron.
Yeah, he's not on the 40, but I mean, at least he gives them a second legitimate option where if they needed a reliever, if they go and create the 40-man room, he's worth adding because he can pitch. I really don't know why the Marlins DFA'd him. I saw someone in my mentions on Twitter that didn't understand. They were kind of mad at the Marlins GM, especially with him recovering from cancer and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you got to make a business decision. I get it. It stinks. But I don't even know why the Marlins would let him go. Like, he wasn't like he was pitching bad. I don't know the roster.
They need it, and they need bullpen depth to begin. They need bullpen the last depth. 2 years.
I don't know what the roster situation is, so very bizarre to me. But it sounds like Nick is feeling good, healthy, and strong, and he is excited to come back to Cleveland, at least be in the organization here. So hopefully he'll have a legitimate chance to make it up to Cleveland at sometime this year.
I kind of look at them right now. It's like Andrew Nardi. I'm not sure how he's doing. Steve Okert. They've got some guys that I am not as high on taking up spots. And I think they have a lot of infielders. They're like Cleveland, that the infielders, because Xavier Edwards, Jordan Groshans, Jacob Amaya are all in the minors, and all of those are guys you expect to be in the majors by now, as well as John Birdie, Luis Ortiz, Garrett Hampson, Juan Segura, and Joey Wendell. Like they need to make some choices on some infielders. That's why
a lot
Nic
of those guys
Enright
are
is
having
down.
terrible years too, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Although Segura started ahead. Yeah, I don't understand why they got rid of Enright. I really don't know. I'm not really sure why.
No, they probably needed to like if you got Wendell and Garrett Hampson, that's kind of redundant. So and Xavier Edwards, like I would think with a team that desperately needs some bullpen help, that was kind of a silly move. Let go of an infielder.
Yeah, benefits Cleveland, but
yeah.
bad for Enright. But hopefully he'll find. I mean, I don't know what it'll take for him to find his way to Cleveland this year, but I hope he pitches well enough to at least force their hand. Other news too, real quickly before we get out of here. I don't know if you saw, Jeff, the Bally's situation with Diamond Sports Group.
Mm-hmm.
The Padres are no longer broadcasting on Bally's because, they're claiming that the MLB wants a unfair amount of money for the current market for those games. Whatever, you agree to pay the contract. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't care. The Padres games are being produced by the MLB now, so they kept the same broadcast, which is good. I don't know about the people behind the production crew. I'm sure some of them lost their jobs, unfortunately. But the judge ruled that the Diamond Sports Group has to pay a bunch of these teams that they were going to court with, including the Guardians, because they were saying that they wanted to pay a lower rate for their payments. They wanted to renegotiate, and I don't know. That's a whole bunch of bankruptcy mumbo jumbo that I don't understand. But the judge said, hey, you got to pay the full rate. You can't just, come in here and say you're going to pay a percentage of the contract you agree to. You're paying the full rate. So Diamond Sports Group, I don't know if they'll actually make the payment. Maybe they'll just, this is just a bankruptcy proceeding. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I watched Suits for all 9 seasons. It was a great show, but didn't help with bankruptcy court. So maybe they still won't make their payments. I think, did you send me the article or somebody else did, saying that MLB is paying the teams 80% of their MLB or their TV contracts this year?
We discussed it because some people are kind of trying to look for things, but some bonus ways to make money, or maybe take advantage of teams. Money. But so
MLB is paying teams 80% of their TV contracts for the season, but now Bally's is forced to pay, or Diamond Sports Group is forced to pay all of the contract, but I guess it remains to be seen if they'll actually do that or not. If that was, I don't know, if the judge orders it, I guess you got to do it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Or I think they just have to agree to let him go. And, I think then they'd have to agree to just let them go if they didn't sign that. That's the choice. Like they have to do it, or the contract is no longer, would be voided. Probably similar to San Diego's would be my thought, but we'll see if that is a right or wrong take.
You had an interesting take too on the San Diego situation, because their games are available on Spectrum and all these other places that carry, so teams can watch the local broadcast, but they do have to pay a little extra for the blackout.
Yeah, and they have to do, and you can still get access through a lot of different ways, but I saw some people talking about how it's a little bit unfair, they thought. And here's my general view: if you give local blackouts free for a year and then try to make people pay, people complain. Like the same way that people complain about every time Netflix increases their cost and you bleed off subscribers. You just have to set a cost and run with it, and you can't mess around with it. And people for years have wanted the ability to just buy this service. So here you go. You can just buy it. You can cancel cable. You can make some money. I think at this point in time, it's the right call. I don't have any issue with them charging a monthly fee. We knew it was probably going to be something like this, though. It was going to have to be something like this. It is a little pricey, but if you only had cable for baseball, then you're saving a lot of money right now. So there's the upside.
That's me. I only have cable for live sports in general. I watch college football and I watch baseball. That's the only reason I have cable. I have YouTube TV, and they stink because they don't have Bally's and they don't have MLB Network. So I'm paying for it for nothing. I don't know why I keep paying for it. One of our apps takes care of that if we get them as a sponsor. So
yeah.
All right. Well, we can go to bed and hope that the Guardians don't put Amed Rosario batting second on Friday night, but
he will
happen. He will be there.
Yeah, 100%. So he'll be back. We won't be back until Monday. So we'll take our weekend. Hopefully we'll come back talking about how this team has taken 3 out of 4. But we do also want to take this moment and thank you all for listening, rating and reviewing, doing your part. It helps. And, again, make sure you're downloading daily. Like and subscribe, and go Guardians go.